Hello, my name's Tom Indoe. I'm at Richman Farms. Our family's had a sugar bush here. We call it Sugar Camp, Sugar Bush, where we tap maple trees back in our woods. My grandpa, he started it when he came from Granger. He took an old shed from a garage from up here at the farm and took it back in the woods, and took it back in the late 30s, probably 1939. I think he moved the sugar house back there and carved a hillside there where he can gravity feed his sap to the sugar house. He started with draft horses with a mud sled that had a 100-gallon tank on it that he hauled syrup here. There's some pictures if they can pick it up. How they gathered sap with buckets. He had probably 600 buckets up to 800 at the time. To get it to run, it has to freeze at night and thaw out in the 40s or 50s during the day, and that makes the sap run out of the trees, and it takes around 50 to 40 gallons of sap to make 1 gallon of syrup. We started to do it the old-fashioned way. We use a wood arch fire. Only thing we use to finish sap or syrup with. I pull it off a little early, and I finish it off with a propane finishing pan. Then we can it, filter it and can it right there in the sugar house. We got away from since I'm doing it mostly by myself, I went with the tubing in the woods. Got very little buckets. It's tubing, it's like a main line that runs through the woods, like a 3/4 inch line, and we got 5/16 stretch lines going to the trees, and it's all gravity fed to a central gathering point. We got a couple 300-gallon tanks out in the woods where I suck it out and put it in a 300 storage tank we hauled in with a tractor to the sugar house now. So that's something we're a little more modern with. We sometimes sell, if I have carryover, a lot I've just sold to family who make from, I made up to 170 gallons to only 30 gallons. It depends on how Mother Nature treats you during the season. When the trees bud, we quit because it's a buddy syrup.
What does a buddy syrup mean?
The trees bud and they get a little more bitter syrup. But as the season goes on, getting closer to spring, that's when it starts to bud. We quit before it buds. Usually the first run's a lighter syrup, and it gets more amber as the season goes on. The real light syrup, they like making candy and with that kind of syrup, and we sold some up to Chatham, VFW, for some their pancake festival. Most of it goes to family, and here and there some people buy it. But like I say, our best years are like 170 gallons, the most we've ever made, and like most it's been about 100 gallon the last few years. So that's about our production. There's a lot of area. I didn't make syrup this year because I had a hip problem. But there's a lot of Fulton's in Seville, and they're selling syrup, and there's a lot of Amish syrup in our neighborhood that sells syrup. Basically, I don't know, that's about it. I don't know, you may have to cut that out. I'm running out of things to say.